Gonna do it. Okay, looks live, guys. How's that? Okay. I'm doing it a different way so that hopefully I won't have a problem with this buffering issue. I'm using the camera on my computer. So don't know what the deal is with that, but we're going to try. Hopefully that'll help and it won't keep buffering and it'll be easier. Okay. So let me find my notes here. Been a wild week, hasn't it? I mean, really wild. Okay. Let me put my lunch aside here. Let's see what we got. There's only a few of us so far. We've got Den. Tell me if I have food in my teeth because I was eating my lunch. And we got Donald. Okay, Den and Donald so far. We got a couple more that just came on. We'll wait for them for a few minutes. Let me have a couple bites, okay? Because I didn't get any lunch today, so just a couple bites. Tahoe! Tahoe, tell me you're doing okay, please. That's what I want to hear. We're just waiting right now. I'm eating because I didn't have any lunch yet. So we'll hang on for just a couple minutes. You are, yes. I'm so glad. Oh, I knew you would, sweetheart. I just knew you would. Hi, my love. How are you, Timmy? How you doing, sweetie? Okay, we're going to wait a couple more minutes, but you know what? We've got a few on here right now. We can go on, right? My sweetie's okay. He's working hard. He should be home in about an hour. Gotta cut these bangs. All right. We got almost 10 here, so let's go. Huh? Waiting for the doctor to call back. Tell me it's good news. Please, please, please. But it sounds like you're feeling better anyway, Tahoe, so that's a good thing. All right, let's see what we got happening this week. It's kind of weird, isn't it? Oh, did I just lose that? Nope. Ed. Ed's a new one. Hi, Ed. How you doing? Good to see you. Mark. Hi, Mark. 3 programs at once. That's multitasking is what we call that, huh? I hear you. Okay. Okay, so let's take a look at what we've got here. One thing I picked up, and did I? Yeah, I did. All right, I'm going to switch it. Oh, one thing I wanted to remind you guys, if you hear me hit anything with music on it, let me know. Hi, Helen. How you doing, sweetheart? I want you to look at your email because I remember last time we had a real hard time. So tell me you're going to be checking your email. And I won't send it to your hubby this time either. Okay. So what I want you to do is tell me if I hit anything that has music, because they're hitting me with copyrights. They're not strikes, but anytime there's any kind of music, they're going to filter that and suppress it and so forth. And we don't need the music. We can just shut it off. That's not the point of the whole thing. All right. So here's what I was going to show you. I saw on somewhere X, I think, that there was a huge meeting down south. Oh, okay. You don't have a hubby. Okay. Well, I hope that's good. So anyway, I saw this thing somewhere. It was a video of a group down in Southeast Florida where they're putting a mosque up. And the people are livid. They went to the city meeting. And what they did is these guys, the city council, didn't put this on the agenda. So they thought they'd slip it by, but somehow the people found out and they went wild. So I did a little looking at it. If you see this happening in your area, because it is happening in more than one, it could be one of these mosques. So here's what I'm talking about. They're calling it Epic Estates, okay? And what that is called, it's a land bank company. And what these, I remember this from my days in real estate. What these people do, Disney did the same thing when they came to Florida. They buy up all of this land under different corporate names, nothing to do with who they are, to hide the origin of it. I used to follow them to see if theme parks were coming up, as far as real estate values would go up and so forth. This particular one, however, and let me see if I can go down to where they're doing it. They are doing it for the Arabs, for these mosques. Okay, and here's what we've got so far. Colorado, they got 10,000 acres. Now, I can't say every one of these are a mosque, but it's the same land bank that these people are using. It wouldn't surprise me. Just keep looking if it's in your area. Colorado, 10,000 acres within 6 properties. Florida, 13,000, 12 properties. Kansas, they're moving into Kansas, 600 acres. Oh, Texas, 1,100, and we all know what happened with that, 8 properties. So this is how these guys work. They land bank. They buy property surreptitiously so people don't understand and don't go to their city halls to complain, or their zoning places to complain. But it's happening in South Florida, and the people are livid. I'm not a protester or anything. I don't do that. But look for that name, Epic Estates, because that could be them banking land to put up a mosque. Let's see. Okay. Now, let me go down to here. I'm going to not quite do that one yet. Governor Nikki Sherrill, remember this one from New Jersey, who had a bunch of votes. They reported 6,600 votes, and then POTUS came on and said that it could be up to 35,000 votes that were placed by that were registered. 35,152 illegals that were registered to vote. Now, Trump says those are just the ones that got caught, that 6,600. The administration itself cited a DHS ceiling figure of what they think is how many non-citizens are enrolled to vote is 278,000 on our voter rolls across 4 states only. 278,000 against 4 states only. So that kind of stinks, doesn't it? And so I don't need that. So I wanted you to realize that so here was the thing. So what's happening, let's see if I got this. Okay. Look at this one, guys. This is Libs of TikTok, and I have to put it over here. Hang on, it takes me a minute to get myself organized here. Oh, that one won't go there, huh? Well, I know what I can do. Do this, edit, copy, close that. Okay, so here's what they're doing. In New Jersey, those mistaken voter registrations that they had of illegals, you're going to love this one, guys. Now there are let me switch it for you so you can see. Now there are pro bono attorneys. Do you believe you were mistakenly registered to vote as a result of the transaction at the MVC between June 2023 and 2024? If there's been an error and you didn't mean to say that you were eligible to vote when you weren't, then there's pro bono legal services to help you. If you know a New Jersey resident who's been detained by U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement and needs legal support, please complete this form. So it never stops, guys. These guys just keep on going like the ever-ready bunny, don't they? So I wanted to show you that they're now, in addition to registering these illegals, they're going to try and keep them in the country by defending them free to stay here. You believe that? Hi, Tony. I'm tuning in for the pet show. I know. Well, Wolfie is upstairs asleep on the bed. I told him we were doing it. He didn't come down yet. And I didn't know it. Last Tuesday, Tim had a string at the top of the stairs and was playing with Wolfie and making him be in the show. Pico, I don't know where he is. He's very loyal. He came down, but he's not here yet. Let's see. Feel good. Just need referral change for surgery, but I will be okay if this thing will dissolve. It will dissolve, sweetie. Listening to your frequencies daily. Okay, good. And then I'll think about some things too on that aspect of it. Okay, what else do I have for you guys? Let's see. We did Epic Estates and the mosques that they're trying to put in. Let me go to my notes, because believe it or not, I do have some. All right. This is good, guys. This is good. I don't think I have a link for this one, so I'm just going to read it to you. There's something known. They did a press conference, and you might have seen it today. They did a press conference on something called Operation Blackout. I think, I'm not sure. I thought Jeff might have been one of the ones that got hit by this. I hope we don't. I hope Jeff comes back. But anyway, it's called Operation Blackout, and this is what it is, guys. It's a multinational campaign whose primary purpose is to dismantle large-scale international scam centers. So we're not, remember how it's always been a problem, and they tell you, oh, well, the reason we can't do anything is because we have no jurisdiction. Well, now we're working with other countries to do it. Kash Patel reported that Operation Blackout has so far taken down 4 of the largest scam compounds on Earth. They have seized $15.2 billion on those 4 scams so far. Thousands of trafficked workers were free, so they were forcing people to work in these scam centers. 8,000 internet terminals were shut down. 10,000 Americans have already been saved from losing their life savings. So I guess they had a list or something of people that were being scammed or in the process of being scammed, and they saved them. Here's the operations. One was called Operation Zephyr Exodus, and many of these, or the majority so far, has been the Bitcoin scams. So anyway, Operation Zephyr Exodus targeted the Prince Holding Group. If anybody got ripped off by them, collect your money because you're entitled. This was a Cambodian-based network that was led by a guy named Chen Z. Prince Holding Group, also called the Prince Group. This produced a record seizure of roughly 127,000 Bitcoin, valued at about $8 to $15 billion, depending on the timing. And it disrupted associated forced labor scam compounds engaged in investment and other frauds. And that money, that, remember, I did a video a while back about how President Trump established 2 sovereign accounts. One was for Bitcoins, and one people that were actually victims of Bitcoin scams, and the other one was going into a general account for all Americans. So that's where these assets are going, in these strategic reserves that he's got for us. The next one was Operation Sand Dollar, and this has been described as the largest FBI-led scam center takedown. It dismantled 9 compounds, scam compounds, that were linked to organized crime groups operating across Asia, with significant activity tied to facilities and preying on victims via the UAE and Dubai. Dubai seems to be coming in to this whole thing quite a bit since Trump took that plane. I'll tell you what, the chocolates are all over the place, and they are the bomb with the pistachio in them. I got 2 bars in there. Okay, so anyway, results included more than 300 arrests, including a large Dubai police joint action. Hundreds of millions were seized, thousands of devices were taken, and thousands of trafficked workers were freed. The third one was Operation Compound Fracture, or Houchin. This was focused on the Tai Chang scam compound, also known as Casino Kosai. And this was in Myanmar, Burma area. And this is an area that was linked to Democratic Karen Benevolent Army, the DKBA. So if you think that this is politics in the United States only, we have the world. And you're going to see in the next one, which I think I'm going to do, that it's all over the place, guys. It's worldwide, and we're the ringleaders. This one, this takedown actions included domain and malicious app seizures. So they had these apps. You know how they take your stuff off your phone with these apps? I don't know if you know that or not, but be very careful when you don't download apps, because they can get into your phone, and if you bank from there, they got your banking information. There is currently a $10 million reward offer for any information on these people, and related asset seizures, tens of millions were tied to it, and similar sites. So it looks like maybe there isn't now, maybe there was a $10 million, because they clearly said that they have taken the apps down, but it sounds like they still need to take the people. They didn't name any of the perps in that one. The last one was the Shunda compound takedown. This was another joint FBI with Thailand operation. Can you believe this? Against the Shunda compound network. It led to arrests in Thailand. So we're making arrests in Thailand because Trump is aligning with other countries to cleanse the world. There was a disruption of network responsibles for hundreds of millions in victim losses, and the first ever seizure of a Telegram channel used for recruitment into forced labor scams, including law enforcement impersonation schemes. So what that means is they were trying to recruit people, and they were impersonating themselves as law enforcement. And when they recruited you, it was a forced labor scam. Poor children of our world, I'll tell you. Anyway, dozens of compounds overall have been affected across the larger campaign, because this particular Operation Blackout was one of a larger bunch of campaigns, how it usually is, or a bunch of investigations. And that's usually how it is. You have one operation here, and they all have similar mandates, but it's a different group. So basically, when you have an operation like that, it's a certain number of agents that have been assigned to it. Next, of course, you can bring in additional help and so forth, but there's core people that are in charge of that that particular operation. The compounds primarily ran crypto investments, which are those, remember we saw pig butchering scams a while back that I think it was Tulsi Gabbard was talking about maybe, and related online frauds, while often relying on trafficked labor. The seizures go into, again, one of the two strategic reserve funds. So money is growing for us, and it will soon, hopefully, be safe to go online again. Wouldn't that be wonderful? Let's see. Dan said Google Jim Rickards and $150 trillion trust. Rickards. I'm going to do that while we do it now. Let's see here. We're all contributing to this. Okay, Jim Rickards scam. I hope it's right. Oh, God. Why are you giving me grief? I don't want to go there. I'll go to Grok instead. Grok. You know how you put your passwords in 4 billion times and you expect it to remember them? Jim Rickards scam. All right, let's see if Grok comes up with anything. All right, I'm trying to. Trump has money set up. Yeah, you didn't know that? Yes, Tahoe. He does. As part of, we always heard that as part of the whole Nasera Jacera thing, that there would be, what would you guys call it? It's not compensation, but there will be wealth accounts for people. There'll be different initiatives. Now, this is what we were told. That was awesome, Wolfie. I know Wolfie he's a ham. I'm sorry, I shouldn't do that. So there are these wealth accounts. He has set up one that is strictly for people that were ripped off by these scams. And then there is another one that is the general wealth account. So they're talking about, and I don't know if this is true, but we've heard them talking about the birth certificates. Our birth certificates are bonds, basically, and it says it on there. It doesn't use the word bonds, it uses something else. I'm sure one of you will know. But we're supposed to be able to be compensated for that, for the interest on it. So old people like me should get a decent amount. There's also supposed to be mortgage forgiveness. And hi, Patricia. No worries, sweetheart. There's also supposed to be mortgage forgiveness, because the things that straw man accounts, exactly, because they used this money, the banking practices that were utilized on credit card debt, mortgages, basically almost all kinds of debt was illegal the way they did it. And that's the thing. So he did when did Trump set up the Bitcoin sovereign accounts? I think that's what he called them. All right, so we're going back to Rickard. Let me take a look. So Rickards is a lawyer. This is, of course, Grok is saying he's not a scam artist or fraudster in the criminal case. So I'll have to do commodities criticisms. Critics often call his style doom porn or gold pumping. Related predictions of currency crisis, hyperinflation, dollar collapse, heavy promotion of gold and related investments as a hedge. Well, you remember what Phil Godlewski did with that gold and silver. He made himself real rich on it. Aggressive marketing of paid newsletters and exclusive reports with upsells. So consumer complaints typically involve billing issues. I'll have to look at, he's a legitimate professional lawyer. Well, that's a shark. We know that's no good. And he publishes opinions. So I'll have to look a little more at this guy. You can give me a heads up if you want to on what I should be looking. So President Trump started the Strategic Bitcoin Reserve and the U.S. Digital Asset Stockpile March 6, 2025. The order directs the Secretary of the Treasury to set up an office to administer and maintain control of custodial accounts collectively known as the Strategic Bitcoin Reserve. So see, this is the thing, guys. When you know what NESARA GESARA was, what they've told us it would happen, we're not seeing NESARA GESARA. There's no big announcement. Okay, all come running for your money now because we're going to do this. No, little things are happening that they said would happen. Another indicator that NESARA GESARA is legit was those Trump accounts that he started for children. Children are already being set up at birth to be prosperous when they get older. That was another part of NESARA GESARA. So the Strategic Bitcoin Reserve, or the Digital Asset Stockpile, it's not to be sold. The order specifically says it cannot be sold, and it's to be held as a permanent national reserve asset. A few days earlier, on March 2nd, Trump had publicly announced plans for a broader strategic crypto reserve. So that was a few days before he was telescoping he was going to do this. That would include Bitcoin along other assets such as Ethereum, Solana, XRP, and Cardano. Now, Cardano. I don't know much about Bitcoin. I'm a gold and silver girl myself. The formal executive order refined this into a dedicated Bitcoin reserve plus a separate stockpile for other digital assets. So, yeah, you're seeing the signs all around. So, yes, that would be the case. Hi, Patricia. Perfect timing. She's doing well, Patricia. Tahoe's doing good. Let's see. Sovereign Wealth Fund. Exactly. There was a NACERA conference. Did you go to it, Dan? I wish I would have known. I didn't know about that. All right. So next, what we're going to look at, let's see. Oh, here's one. Because the last one I'm going to go over is, let's see, did I not do the first one? I got a couple here. Did the land banking. Okay, there's two rather intricate ones, one which I'm very familiar with, and one which I breezed over and so you're going to be looking at much of it with me. Anyway, just before I came on, I found out that apparently there's been an announcement now. Let me get you a little bit better here, because apparently, hold on one second. Tell me about this one is something. What's happening is, I don't know the country yet. I'll have that in a second. But it was a cybersecurity advisory. It was Iranians. There you go. So Iranian affiliated cyber actors, basically Iranian hackers, have been actively targeting U.S. water and wastewater systems, along with our operational technology controls and other critical infrastructure sectors. Now that, I think we've got it. I think we've got it under control. And I think much of this is playing out as the movie. But there were official warnings. And in April, and it was just updated in July 22nd, the FBI, CISA, NSA, EPA, Department of Energy, U.S. Cyber Command, and the Treasury issued a joint cybersecurity advisory, AA 26097A. It warns of ongoing exploitation, my mouth isn't working here, of internet-connected devices, operational technology devices, especially programmable logic controllers by Iranian-affiliated advanced persistent threat actors. The sectors that were targeted are targeted still, water and wastewater systems, government services and facilities like local municipalities, and energy. What they're trying to do is they're trying to shut down our water and our electricity. And this could be part of the movie, guys. We always did hear that there'd be a blackout, and maybe it's going to get dumped on the Iranians. I don't know. But they're telling us to be aware of this, to have backups. Of course, for those that don't have a filter, a gravity filter, and are going to be relying on an electrical filter or something for your water, that's why I love the Berkey. They can shut it down. I don't care. Shut down my electricity, shut down everything. I walk down to the water or my pool, and I fill up my Berkey, and there you go. I've got my fresh water. So you want to be aware of that, guys. I don't recommend storing plastic jugs of water, but if you can pick yourself up some 5 gallons glass containers, fill them up and save them for a rainy day just in case. All right, let's see what else we got. Let me check on you guys, make sure we're still all together here. I don't know if they're going to get a lump sum, but I think it's going to be dribbled out in different ways like we're seeing. Yeah, you're right. Donald says the biggest scam was done by the government by way of taxes. And he's absolutely right. You buy a car and you got to pay taxes on that tag every year. What is the purpose of that? Now, I can see that if they're looking for somebody, of course, now they have all those flock cameras, but I guess they need a tag for that. But if you're looking for somebody's, I see all the time on these crime shows where, that is very valuable to have a tag number on somebody, for sure. But why do they have to charge us? Why don't they issue them if they want us to have tags and they want us, it's for security? No, instead, we got to pay every year, just like we have to pay, and it ups our mortgage payment every year on the stupid property taxes that are behind by at least a couple years. So right now what's happening is your home might have been worth $300,000 5 years ago, and you're paying taxes on $300,000 and they haven't reassessed it yet, even though your home value might have dropped to $200,000. So now you have a $200,000 home and you're paying taxes on a $300,000 home. And that's the way taxes work. They're terrible. And that's why Trump is so big on these tariffs, because before taxes were enacted, the America had no taxes at all. They were paid by tariffs. And people don't get it. They're, oh, you're going to kill our economy. You're going to kill our trade. He's trying to make us prosperous. And that's what the sleepers don't get yet. He's trying to make us prosperous. Property tax eliminated, income tax eliminated, payroll, excess licenses, etc. That is NESARA. Exactly, Patricia. Thank you. All right. So let's look at the big thing this week. I'm not going to redo it because I already did a video on Fauci. But here's something that got me kicked off of Facebook about, I don't know, maybe right what, well, no, it had to be after COVID. So probably about 2021, I got kicked off of Facebook for this. And basically what it is Fauci did, I do have it, good. No, that's the wrong one. Hold on. Here we go. There is a publication that Fauci came out with. Let me get it up for you guys. I can get rid of the Iranian hacker one now. So anyway, the thing is there, expect potential operational disruptions in your water, your electricity, and so forth. Drinking water safety has generally been maintained through manual interventions, but the potential for broader disruption exists. So don't drink the water. The activity is assessed as, we're still back on this water, assessed as disruptive and linked to Iranian geopolitical motivations. And this, in Minnesota, what a shock. In Minnesota in late July, and I guess that's what the second announcement is about, coordinated cyber attacks hit more than 30 municipal water systems in Minnesota. That was just in July here. These disrupted PLCs, I don't know what they are, PLCs. What are they, guys? Tell me, who knows? Oh, shoot. Anyway, it disrupted PLCs from direct PLCs. Hold on, border contract text. I lost my spot. I hate when I do that. Minnesota, there we go. Disrupted PLCs and supervisory systems controlling pumps. It affected treatment of the water and communications, like water towers in Plymouth losing all connectivity. Braham, which I guess is a city in Minnesota, is advising residents to limit their water use. Operators switched to manual control. So they were on some automatic and they switched. Officials confirmed that the drinking water remained safe with no boil water orders required in the reported cases. So it looked like they stopped it, but I don't drink the water anyway, so it's not an issue for me. But so watch that one out. They're recommending that we watch our water supply. And they're actually, I think the alert is more for water departments so that, they know to be on the lookout for hacks. And that, you can do that with intrusion software and so forth. So I don't know. It's a little scary, though, that they're getting into our water. But like I said, I don't know if it's a real thing or if it's part of the PSYOP. Okay, so now this is what I wanted to tell you about our fearless leader, Anthony Fauci. You may have heard of this, and it was debunked by all of the Snopes people and all of that stuff. But I went through this with a fine-tooth comb. And while they never came out and said that the masks caused COVID or any of these pandemics, what it was is Fauci back in 2008. You can see that here, 2008. And here's Fauci, good old Fauci, with Morens, who was the guy I think that just got busted on his team. I don't know who this guy is, but Morens just got busted, I think. And so what's going on is, let me give you the figures here from my notes. All right, I put some notes down here. So, if you guys know, I don't know how many of you went for the mask thing. Personally, I never did. If I walked into a store and they said you needed it, I walked out again. I think the only time I ever wore one was to go with my mom to a doctor when they insisted, and I didn't want to leave her alone. So the masks had one purpose, guys, and you must understand this. We have normal flora. Let me go back to me here. Oh, you can see me in the bottom. That's good. You don't need to see my face anymore. Okay, so we have normal flora that is all over our body in all kinds of spots, right? You know about that. One specific spot that we have normal flora is in our respiratory system. And they're specifically lie in the upper respiratory system. Well, what happened when they put those masks on, those paper masks that they had, and even the other ones, but the paper ones didn't hold the COVID in because the pores, remember the pantyhose thing? The pores were bigger than the COVID virus molecule. So those ones there that went right through, they were totally ineffective. However, they were small enough to stop some upper respiratory normal flora, we call them, normal bacteria. So what happened is our body stays healthy. You have to understand this machine is on here. I can take that off. You read the top of it. This machine that we have, that we live in, it is set up to perfectly take care of us, right? Hi, Happy. And so what happens is these bacteria are there for a reason, and they're there to protect the upper respiratory system, fight off other things. But when you have a mask like this, and they, like anything, bacteria multiply, right? You know that if you got an infection and you don't take care of it pretty quick, it's just going to get worse and worse and worse. That's because they propagate, they multiply like fleas. I always compare bacteria and viruses to fleas. Okay, you know how you get a flea in there and they start multiplying like crazy, and you might spray some stuff and it'll kill the weakest ones, but then they're not bothering you or jumping on your legs anymore. And then what happens is that the ones that are left are the strongest ones that weren't killed by the antibiotic, and they start multiplying again. That's why they always tell you to take it 3 days after all symptoms are gone. So what happens is when you have that mask on your face, right, you're supposed to expire those bacteria that are the normal flora down here. Instead of that happening, and instead of expiring it, those masks they kept building up and multiplying, and then they had no place to go from. We couldn't expire them, so they went down into the lungs, and that is what caused the pneumonia, not the COVID. Our normal bacteria caused pneumonia. But so what I was showing you on that article here, and this is only an abstract of it, but like I said, here's the full article down here, okay? And here's what they were studying. They studied 4 different pandemics. The Russian flu, the Spanish flu. The Russian flu is 1889, so that you know. Masks were not mandated there. And there are roughly about 1 million deaths worldwide with no mask mandates. The Spanish flu come along in 1918, and they required masks. There was a mask mandate. There were 50 to 100 million deaths with the Spanish flu. It wasn't the flu. Again, it was the masks. Then in 57, the Asian flu came along. Again, they didn't mandate the masks, and there were 1 million deaths, about. So without the masks, worldwide, there's about 1 million deaths. When you put the masks on, it jumps way up. In 2009, remember the swine flu, H1N1? Well, they didn't require masks. They were giving out Tamiflu like candy. I remember that. That's the one I told you about. We had the stockpile drugs that came in that were government stockpiles that were expiring. So basically, they wanted to dump them so they didn't lose money. And that's why we had the swine flu. But they didn't mandate masks, and there were less than 500,000 deaths. Some say less than 100,000, but estimated less than 500,000 worldwide. Then came COVID, again with the mask mandates, and there were over 20 million deaths, is what's estimated to be the accurate account, and that's only of what's been reported. So you can see there a trend that, let me just, well, I can't put that one on there, but you can see a trend here, guys, that when you put the mask, Fauci knew this, and that's what they were studying. And though he never, the summary of it never concluded that it was due to the masks, rather, the conclusions were that the majority of the deaths in 1918 influenza pandemic likely resulted, listen to this, from secondary bacterial pneumonia caused by common upper respiratory tract bacteria. Less substantial death. So I don't have to go through the rest of it, but right there, he's not saying the mask caused it, but what he's saying is the one that had so many deaths had mandated masks, and it likely resulted from common upper respiratory tract bacteria. Now, any health professional knew this, guys. Any health professional knew this, and they did it anyway. Your doctors forced you to use them. Your nurses forced you to use them. Your pharmacists forced you to use them. And they knew all along. Anybody that has any medical knowledge whatsoever should understand that wearing prolonged masks like that, the only time, in my opinion, it's ever warranted, and I did it with my dad, and we only did it when he went out. When he was at home, what we did is when my dad was diagnosed with cancer, my sisters went to the house. I was up at Mayo Clinic with him, and my sisters went into the house, and they cleaned their house top to bottom, got rid of all of the bacteria, just cleaned it with bleach from top to bottom. So the house was clean. I mean, not that my mom is dirty or anything, but you know what I'm saying. So anyway, we never had him wear a mask inside if people came into the house, because, see, he was immune compromised because he was on chemotherapy. So if you're immune compromised and you're wearing those masks, the same thing's going to happen, but your body has even less immunity to fight it off because you're immune compromised, right? So when people would come in, the visitor would wear the mask. The housing person that was not immune compromised would wear it. If we took him outside to go somewhere, we had him wear the mask then. But that's the only justification that I can see for ever wearing prolonged masks, and that's if there's some kind of immune compromised situation, either from some kind of condition, physical ailment, or from drugs that cause it. So I want to tell you what a POS that guy is. He knew all along the masks were the killer, guys. That's how they did it. Okay, let's see what we got here. We were breathing our... Oh, we got... hi, Happy. Probably, yep. Happy, join the club. I got kicked off TikTok talking about the vaccine a couple of years ago, but you're back on. Yeah, I am too. Happy, I started a new account. They didn't reinstate me because I was talking about all kinds of things back then that they didn't want. I was talking about Water Island, where Joe Biden's family had a parcel of land. Remember this? And it's real close to Epstein's Island. And after Epstein got busted the first time, that's when Ghislaine got her submarine pilot's license. And lo and behold, there's a submarine base on Water Island, which is very close. So after he got busted the first time, they started flying them into Water Island, the perverts started flying them into Water Island, and she would submarine them over to Epstein Island to avoid any kind of, suspicions of flying into that island or even flying into St. Thomas. So here's the thing, guys. Water Island was primarily owned by the government, specifically the 3-letter agencies that start with C. Okay? So I did some research into this and who bought some of this land and stuff. This is only my opinion. Disclaimer. I believe that the three-letter agency was directing the entire operation on Epstein Island and Epstein, and that one of the people that bought parcels there was a liaison for our government who brought in foreign national dignitaries. Okay, so that's why this is worldwide. It's not America, guys. Please, please, please don't think that if America cleans up, that it's all fixed up. No, this is worldwide, and it will become worldwide if we don't deal with it worldwide. So, just my opinion, three-letter agencies were flying people in, dignitaries, to entertain them with victims that were submarined over to him with victims. There was something that crossed my mind, but it has evaded it. Oh, no, I know what it is. Also, if you remember a while back, I did a video. RFK Jr. came out when he first got in. This was in 2005, shortly after he took over. And he made an announcement that Health and Human Services was engaged in child trafficking. Now, at the time, we didn't know what that meant, right? But now we do. What that was is they were taking these poor kids that were orphans and stuff and coming in from Haiti and all of this stuff. HHS, any kid that went into HHS was at risk to be trafficked. And RFK said that ages ago. So if you think that the US government wasn't involved in all of these crimes, and they're going to try to tell us, of course, but the good thing is it made me feel good when RFK came out with that, because he's blabbing on the US government. Now, of course, what's happening is the liberals are saying, it's Trump, look, it's Trump. This never happened before. No, it was happening before. Trump is the one that's exposing it and shutting it down. And so I wanted to bring that up to you, that all of this, Fauci with the COVID thing, the trafficking, all of it, guys, was our government doing it. People from within the most powerful government in the world were in charge of all this. Just so you know that. Okay, let's see. Happy says, happy Friday, everybody. Nazi Fauci is nothing but a big puppet scam. Knowledge is power. Let's go. Yep, I know, the pandemic. Nasera is misunderstood. Your inheritance from God is under your feet. The darkness has been stealing your inheritance. Yep. Soon they will be removed. There's Timmy saying hi to you, Tahoe. We were breathing our bacteria and then had risk of infection equal to pneumonia. Exactly. You're right on there. It was the bacteria. Deaths from COVID, and I mean the coronavirus. I don't care what did they call them? What strain? What new mutation it was? It's coronavirus. It's flu. Okay, and so that's exactly what they did. They killed us with the flu, and they killed us with our own bacteria, scaring us with the flu. And then Happy says, that's right. A couple people I knew got a bacterial infection from carbon dioxide wearing the mask. Well, now that was another thing. The carbon dioxide, you're right. And that caused all kinds of damage. Let's just take one look here. Risks of carbon dioxide. What do you call that? Deficiency. Just going to give you a quickie here. Wrong one. Hold on one second. I forgot to check the AI. I use I still use DuckDuckGo because I try to use the other one, Brave, but it's kind of like a pain in the butt sometimes because they want you to download an app, and I'm not big on apps. My computer is so jammed up on memory already. I don't need anything else downloaded. But I'm going to go here, and I'm going to just say list symptoms of CO2 deficiency or deprivation. That's what it is, because that's what happened. It was more than a deficiency. It was a deprivation. So we'll give that a second. Let's see what we got here. Both you and we got Happy there. Hey, Timmy. Oh, you subscribed to Timmy's channel? Good. I'm glad you guys are supporting him. He's very, he's very conscientious, not conscientious. What do you call that? Where you're kind of like reserved, embarrassed a bit, and so forth. He's not feeling real good about it, and I'll tell you what, I was horrified when I started doing these, not the live so much. I felt better, but the first couple videos I did where I was on camera, I was horrified. I just, and picking myself apart. Screw it. I mean, he needs to get a little more comfortable. So I really appreciate you supporting his channel. I understand that drumming isn't, the thing for some of you guys, but those that do, if you like rock and roll, he's going to be doing a lot of stuff on that. Patricia says both her and Jim got the bacterial pneumonia. He in one hospital, me in another. Oh, can't believe you went to the hospital, baby. My mom was so sick, and I refused to take her to the hospital. I went to, I just knew, but people didn't know, that's the thing. But I went to Frontline Doctors, and I got her the ivermectin and a couple other things, and pumped some supplements into her that were recommended at the time, and she got better in no time. If I'm telling you what, she was in her 80s, and I know 100% if we had brought her to the hospital, she'd be dead. She would have died too. Just, and that's, nobody knew. Nobody knew. Okay, so, and Happy says he had to wear a mask when I used to work at Rural King, but I didn't put it over my nose and they got onto me. I know. Remember that one? But you could have brought a knitted one with holes this big in it as long as it was over your nose. It was just, and you wouldn't get vaccinated either. Good for you. Good for you. All right, so here's the CO2 deficiency, what he talked about. Early is dizziness, lightheadedness, shortness of breath, feeling like you can't breathe, tingling. So all these people that can't breathe that are running to the hospitals that have been wearing masks 24/7, riding their bicycle outside and getting exerted, they were short of breath because they didn't have the CO2. Tingling or numbness in the hands, feet, and around the mouth. Anxiety, restlessness, panic-like feelings, headaches, fatigue or weakness, confusion, trouble thinking clearly or brain fog, muscle cramps, twitching, spasms, chest tightness or pain, palpitations or rapid heartbeat. Can you imagine? Blurred vision, fainting, seizures, and significant confusion and altered states. So that was just one of the things that the masks did. That was the, additional things that it did to us. The big thing is it gave people pneumonia. Let's see. The microns of the vaccine are smaller than the fiber threads of the mask. Let's see. They go right through it. That's true. It's like a fly and a chain link fence. Exactly. Happy. Correction, the actual bacteria and the airborne virus. Right, we knew that. Patricia said masking, both of us prior to getting sick with pneumonia. There you go. Because he was in and out of hospitals and rehabilitation. That made it so hard. My dad was already gone when all that happened, thankfully, because he had gotten cancer and stuff and had been in and out of hospitals and rehabs. It was a rehab that finally killed him. But they overdosed him on a drug is what they did. But still, Still bothers me when I think about what happened, and I tried so hard to save him. But so I understand, Patricia, if he was in and out of hospitals and rehabs, there was literally nothing you could do. Just thank God they didn't leave him die alone and dump him into a mass grave. You know, those poor people in New York. All right. Wendy, Helen says some would attribute these pandemics to a new development or increase in radio frequencies and EM. No, I don't think so. 1980 radio frequencies, 20. Oh, I see what you're saying. I don't think so, and here's why. Check out the Invisible Rainbow. Oh, did I forget my thing here? Well, I can go back to this. I forgot my pen. I usually have a pen here, but I got a yellow marker. Invisible Rainbow. Here's why I don't think so, but I could be wrong. What you're talking about with what happened with COVID was not the same thing that EMFs do. And it wasn't nearly that strong back then. 2020 was 5G. But I'm going to show you something in just a minute that which I didn't get to yet, but it will. And I know Patricia follows it, and she may know about this already. But Q gave us the playbook for the COVID and why it happened. I don't think it had anything to do with that. Not that they aren't trying to kill us with that. You know, they may be, but we just suck it up, don't we? We just love it. Got to have that Wi-Fi. Patricia says, yep, just made people sicker, increased risk. Yep. When nurses came to our home, we refused to wear the mask. Good for you. And they were mad. I know. Nurses, the experts. Corrupted military. This is happy. Corrupted military, industrial, medical complex, out of control, and depopulation. That was one of my videos that got banned, was depopulation. And I think I called Fauci. I don't think I should say it here just now, but let's just say I made a comment, something like he will go down in history as worse than the worst mass M in history. And I think you guys know what I'm talking about. COVID was patented. Yes, it was. Because don't forget, it was an engineered virus, gain of function virus. It was a bioweapon. It was not a plant, okay? Plants can't be, they have to be manipulated. So something has to be manipulated in order to patent it. And yes, that was not a natural thing. It was a manipulated virus through gain of function research, and he patented it. Happy loves music. Most of my family played musical instruments. I haven't played the piano. I used to play the piano as a little girl and haven't played it in years. And Tim keeps wanting to jam with me, and I'm like, you don't get it. It's been 50 years since I touched the keyboard. We have one, but I don't play it anymore. Played trumpet. Oh, your parents must have loved that. I thought my daughter was going to shoot me for giving my grandson drums 3 times. They kept all of a sudden breaking, and we kept buying more. Tahoe, that's terrible, Patricia. Glad you're here. Me too. She lost her hubby, though. She lost her hubby. The side effects for bioweapon vaccine injection are unbelievably beyond horrible. Yep. Cuomo and the retirement homes. That's the one. Cuomo and the retirement homes. That guy needs to go down. He so needs to go down. There were numerous witnesses, ambulance drivers, nursing home people. It was employees. It was breaking their hearts. They were basically freezing these people in refrigerated trucks and driving them and dumping them in graves. That's the report. I'm saying, putting a disclaimer, there were reports of that. And these people are demons. 440 frequency is the mind control that the baddies activated MK Ultra. I hadn't heard that integrated into music to control us, keeping us dumbed and controlled around the beginning of the century. You know, I totally believe it. That's why when I find out that somebody has turned to the dark side, even if they were a top expert, as one of them that I know confirmed with Dan turned, even if they were an expert, I still don't turn them on, because I'm too afraid that they will subliminally use some kind of frequencies on me. So once I know and I can see and I can feel the fear-based narratives, I don't ever turn that station on again. I have a couple times. Let me say I have a couple times, but I don't do it just for giggles. You know what I'm saying? If somebody asks me to look at something, but I will never look at the full thing. And I always, before I look at anything, close my eyes and shield myself. But yeah, at 440, it wouldn't surprise me. We saw one too, Tahoe, just recently, driving all alone in their car with a mask on. It's hilarious. Hilarious. And we were in Sam's Club last weekend, and they're starting with them again. One of the people that worked there had the mask on again. Unhappy TV. Why unhappy? Now on Patreon. What's the matter? Are you being... Oh, Mark, what are you saying? Unhappy TV. I don't know anything about that one. So, okay, so we got Helen there. Really unhappy TV? No shit. Oh, there is one on there. So, yeah, tell us about it, Mark. We need more foundation on that one. Or you're screwing with him, aren't you? I still see people walking and riding on the side of the road on a bicycle with a mask on. Insane, insane. Okay, now, let me move this over and show you something. Now, I found this drop, and I'm going to do both. I'm going to show you the drop, and I'm going to show you the expert that brought it to my attention. Okay, so Jeff Pedersen, okay, I've been following him a long time. He's on, he'd be a good person if you're a QAnon or if you just want to learn more about it. You don't have to be in a nun, but in the Matrix is the the account, okay? And he's very good. He's very good at Q proofs. So 6 years ago today, this was when's he? This was posted on July 31st. Today, 6 years ago today, July 31st, 2020. Q dropped 4620, and I've got that here for you. We're going to go over it. Basically, he put this in a nutshell for us. COVID-19 was never about the virus, guys. 100% agree. It was the insurance plan after Flynn, after Mueller, and after they tried to impeach Trump and it failed. So all of these things, see, they have their playbook all lined up. We're going to do this, and here's the backup plan. We're going to do this, and here's the backup plan. Just like Hillary's or Weiner's backup plan for Hillary to make sure he stayed alive, I guess. And then the Post lays out the various stages. The early thing with COVID was nothing to fear. Don't worry about it. It's okay. It's okay. And then all of a sudden, suddenly, there's these doomsday things and lockdowns. Then there was the spike testing. And I don't know what he means by the death coding games, but we'll check the Post. Then there was censorship of opposing views like we all experienced. There was an activation of division. That was the ones, if you're not wearing the mask, you're killing everybody else. Remember that? That's the division. Then they sheltered Biden in the basement. They increased mail-in votes. They wiped out all of the economic gains that Trump had made in the 2016 term. And this was a test for public obedience. Look what actually happened. Exactly. The plan was never hidden. It was in plain sight. We were told, the Patriots were told, the rest were all programmed. So that's why the Patriots didn't fall apart. Now, here's the Q drop that I want to go over. Are we okay on this? You guys enjoying this part? How come you don't get my jokes? I'm talking in code. Because you forgot to give us the code, Mark. Nonprofit. Is NPCs, is that nonprofits? Is that what they're talking about their app? I didn't catch your code, brother. Sorry, me neither. Secret code, the ghost. He drives me nuts with those pictures. Okay. And we got the rabbit, Bun Rab. Oh, Dan's code. My Dan Willis? I'm not kidding. Okay, moving along. Let's see here. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go off of that, and we're going to go to Q drop 4620 that he was referring to. Now, here's what I want you to recognize, guys. This was July 31st, 2020. It came out. When did COVID hit the ground? Like January 20th, right after Trump took office. Boom! It hit the USA, right? How obvious was that? But so we're going to look at this post here, this Q drop. It was July 31st, and so that delta is exactly 6 years ago. Infiltration, only those who can be controlled via. So the control and command positions were necessary to ensure protection or insurance for them, okay? So what they're saying is our government was inundated with people that could be blackmailed or manipulated in some way. But right before Trump came in the second time. That's why there's been so many mass firings and movements. Traitors everywhere. The Democratic leadership, I'll put the thing here, I don't know if that helps, but the Democratic leadership was in joint operations with China. And when they say China, you have to remember, there's the elders in China, and then there's the young Chinese people. It's the elders that are the dirty ones, okay? They've been doing it for a long time, and they were trying to regain power. The U.S., Biden was trying, the deep state, because Biden is a figurehead, but the deep state was trying to regain power from Trump in 2020. It was never about the virus. The sequence of events, here they are. Flynn was the first strike designed to cripple and prevent exposure of illegal acts. Hussein, which is Obama, code for Obama White House. I'm not sure. Let me check the, see if I've got, I should have kept this up for you guys. Q alerts. In case you don't know, I'll show you this too. If you're starting to get into this, because I have a feeling you're going to be seeing Q out there a lot more, guys, as it begins to, the proofs begin to come through. But let me show you something here real quick. You're following. Okay, here is qalerts.net, and this is what you go to, right? And you can punch in any of the drops. If you have a drop, you can type in a word. If you want to type in a word, Trump or Pelosi or whatever, okay? But if you go here, under research, okay, you'll see abbreviations and key definitions. So the drop that we were just in, did I show you that? Oh, I didn't show it to you. Hold on. Let me go back to that. My bad. Let me go back just a second. So here's where you come in if you just go to qalerts.net. This is where the search bar, you can type names, certain drop numbers, anything you want. Now, if you go on the left here, there's research. See that? Under research, there's abbreviations and key definitions, because, and they're not all here. There's a lot more they added after they created this. But what we were looking on that drop, it said Hussein, which is Obama, White House, WH is White House, COC. My guess is change of command, but let's take a look. Let's go down and see if we've got a definition for COC. No, we don't. Oh, yeah, chain of command. So chain of command, okay? So that's how you understand these. I know how hard they are to understand. Believe me, I do, because I've wrestled with them for a long time. But that's how you use the definitions, and you can decode the Q alerts. I want to bring you back to this one now. Okay, so Flynn was the first strike, and he was designed to prevent exposure of illegal acts through the Hussein White House chain of command, national security, intel, discovery. So what's that saying? That's saying, again, the same thing. Our government, the three-letter agencies, install controlled replacement, and that was McMaster, Rogue One. McMaster removal of loyalist intel community. So he got rid of the people that were loyal to Trump. National security, install controlled. And that they're telling you what happened. They did that. Rogue 2 was Coates in the National Intelligence, Department of National Intelligence, to prevent declassification in the House Senate. So he was used to block declassification of records in the House and the Senate. Pre-installed Rogues 3 through 6 were referrals to POTUS regarding McMaster's, Coates, Wray, and Bolton. So they were referrals to Trump to get these people put in. Bolton removal of loyalists, so he also removed Trump loyalists. Intel community, National Secretary, White House, essential to infiltration to prevent declassification and public exposure of the true events. The illegal, I don't think we have a sir, but that is R is Republican candidates. So let me just check the things. Do we have a sir? I've never seen that. No, there is nothing that translates that. So if you can think of what it might be, just shout it out. It could be survival, public exposure of true events, illegal something Republican candidates 1 and 2, House members, Senate members, journalists. I don't know what AMB is. I don't think I have a code for that either. Oh, lost the AM. No AM code. See, they're kind of hard. Some people are really good at this. Then Mueller was installed. Comey termination. So Comey was so corrupt and it became obvious. Trump, now remember, Trump thought Mueller, all of us thought Mueller was on the side. My guess is Trump knew exactly what was going on. But it put POTUS inside of a box to prevent any counterattacks after Comey was terminated. Because remember, he terminated the head of the FBI. Impeachment was installed, meaning they started the impeachment. Mueller was terminated, and they lost power again. The deep state lost power. Again, POTUS inside the box, preventing a counterattack. Then the C-19 insurance plan, the above failsafe came in. C-19 was installed. Impeachment, termination, loss of power of Trump. POTUS again inside the box. Prevent counterattack. C-19, stage 1. Inform POTUS that there's nothing to fear. Don't close travel. Don't do anything. And that was by the CDC and the World Health Organization and 5 of Trump's advisors. Do nothing. That was setting Trump up. Stage 2, inform POTUS of doomsday, inaccurate scenarios and models showing, remember all the models? Predicting death counts of over multi-millions, okay? That was the political force they were using. Lockdown, wipe out, when they locked us down, that wiped out all of the gains that Trump had in his first term. Stage 3, activate the controlled Democratic governors to spike the death count and project statewide fear by presenting alarming on-ground conditions, hospitals, care supplies, projections. Stage 4, push that testing to spike infected rate incline due to the daily testing. That was another political, so that you understand, guys, that testing, and it's come out, it was, here, I can take that off for a second. That testing that they were doing, they were forcing people to do, was a general COVID virus, coronavirus. It was not ever specific for COVID-19. So all they were doing was testing, and anybody that had any kind of sniffly, runny nose, any kind of innocuous flu type symptoms and infections, they spiked positive, and they knew that would happen. They knew using a non-specific COVID test would show a false positive, and that's exactly what they did. There was never a COVID-19 test, never. Let's go back to this. Okay. So test. Okay, then there was the controlled media, MSDNC. They combined that failure to report the death count and the rates proportional to infected rate. Deliberate miscounting of infected numbers. So this was all planned out. And Q was telling us this long before it ever happened. Okay? He laid this all out. The thing just hit the ground in this was 6 months after, and all of these hadn't come to fruition yet. Then change the non-positive to positive label death of there we go. What did I just say? Of non-COVID-19s. So what that was about, which I'm sure some of you have heard, if anybody went into a hospital for any reason, and of course you go in there, it's all over the place. Let me check that drop one more time to see what it says. Right. They were to change non-positive to positive readings of non-C19 and COVID-19 as C19, etc. So the death didn't necessarily say. If you went into a hospital and you were there for any period of time, right, they made you wear these masks. They were moving from patient to patient, infecting everybody in the hospital. Then you're multiplying all your bacteria with these masks on in the hospital. And then they're testing people and they're dying. And even though they might have shown positive, like I said, because that would show any kind of flu whatsoever as a positive, then they got paid more to put them in ICU, to put them on the remdesivir, and to put them on the respirators. So that was how it worked. Then we go back to this. Stage 5, eliminate or censor any opposing views. That was the anti-narrative they didn't want you guys to know about. They shut us up. And to have it ready when needed, activate a 4-year BLM narrative. 4 times the power. Use it as division. So they hired those black ladies that ripped so much money off. It was hired by our own government, guys. 2020 C19 infection rates to justify the close limit until to justify closing the government, and it was limited until November 3rd, the day after elections. Remember, everybody, all of a sudden, all of the shutdowns started disappearing. COVID-19 calculated the Democratic political gain. Eliminate record economic gains that Trump accomplished. Eliminate record unemployment gains, which Trump accomplished. Shelter Biden from public appearances. Limit his public exposure of his mental condition. Shelter Biden from Ukraine exposure. Narrative change. So at the time they were changing the Ukraine. It wasn't time for that. They were changing it back to focusing on C19. Shelter Biden from political debates. Requested demands due to C19. Delay the convention. I forget if they delayed the convention. I remember he was pulled. No, that was the last one. Boy, it all runs together, doesn't it? Strategic takeover of nominee post conference. And I do remember when they weren't letting the Republican delegates in to vote. I don't know if you guys remember that, but even in the primaries, they weren't allowing the Republican Democrats. They were putting them on buses, the delegates, and taking them to another location as the convention was going on in one location. Eliminate, delay POTUS rallies. So they had a hard time stopping him, didn't they? Eliminate ability for people to gather, which they certainly did. Do you remember The hilarious Biden rallies where there was 6 cars and people were sitting in cars all over the parking lot, like separated by I don't know how many feet inside cars. And that was what they did to make it look like there were people at his rallies. Eliminate ability to find peace, strength in your time of need. These people, strict church closures. These people took away everything that people relied upon for comfort. They took away family. They took away your faith. They took away your friends. They took away everything, and so that you would sit there, and when you needed it the most, you were so weak you couldn't even reason anymore. Remember, the mask caused the brain fog and all that? 10, promote mail-in voting, which they did as the only safe method to vote during this time. Bypass the NSA election security measures. Installed midterms. Push state ballot stimulus in California and New York and their wish list items. So basically what they were doing is state bailout stimulus. They were giving them money. They were giving California and New York money to just steal, basically, is what we now know. Increase the national debt, which they did. Place China into controlling debt position, regain leverage. They did. Test conditional limits of the public acceptance. How compliant, how obedient are Americans or people worldwide? And we found out, didn't we? They're sheep. Test conditional limits of us, guys, the non-acceptance. They were testing us too. Test the conditional limits of the state authorities like governors and mayors. Test conditional limits of the media, social media as well. Censorship, if those limits were reached and people were blabbing. Who benefits the most? The Democrats and China. Russia is the enemy. China is our friend. MSDNC, social media programming. All assets deployed. Everything seen yesterday, today, and tomorrow equals a calculated political move or event designed and launched by the Democratic Party in coordination with other domestic and foreign entities in an attempt to regain power over you. Prevent accountability, shadow presidency of Hussein. So what's that telling us? Who was the president behind Biden? Right there, guys. Obama was. Shadow government. Information warfare, insurgency. Your voice and your vote matters. Patriots stand united. Welcome to the revolution, guys. So that was 6 years ago today, and very prophetic, I think. It laid it all out for you guys. Why is my hair sticking up on that side? Okay, there's no doubt about it. Anybody that still doesn't get that was engineered to destroy our country and to keep Trump out of office, they're just brainwashed, guys. They're just brainwashed. Dan's code. I still don't have that one. We got masks. We got the drama. Yep, we sure do. I got that one, Mark. The drama, the movie, the act, the play. I got that one. I think there's 4 things that the deep state cabal needs with our population agenda. Control. That's the control matrix, which they built. Yes. Slavery, which again is the control matrix. Sickness and death. They have to depopulate. And that was another thing. Remember Anand's talked about there would be numerous locations that would be destroyed by direct energy weapons. Remember the Georgia Guidestones? How zap. And what did the Georgia Guidestone say? Talked about the depopulation. So, and here's the thing too. I don't know if you guys remember, but back then they talked about the White House would be destroyed. But I don't think that's the case now. What I think we're seeing is that dining room, that ballroom. I think a lot of weird stuff went down in that ballroom, and that's why I think he demolished it. They had to get that energy out of there of what had gone down. Yep, you're right. You're absolutely right. Happy says central casting began way back then, and it sure did. So personally, remember all the targets across the world? Remember London Bridge caught on fire? That was one of the targets that was supposed to go down. Call them out if you remember them, because then let me see. This is great, isn't it? What were the targets that QAnon said would be destroyed by direct energy weapons? I know the White House was one of them. Maybe some of you guys will remember some of them. Not the Taj Mahal. But the London Bridge, I remember, was one of them, and they caught on fire. I used to watch these. We're still waiting for the dam to go down, for the dam. Remember that? We're still waiting. I'm still running the search here. So let's see if that has it. Okay. We're there. So if you want to move the conversation to other things, I think Melania had, yes, she did. She had it blessed. And I think they had an exorcism as well, Patricia. And the dumbs, now I think the dumbs were cleared out when Biden was there. Because if you remember all those, that scaffolding in front, and they were digging up the underground in the front lawn while I think Biden was in office then. So, and remember that light flashing where they were up in the White House, the second story, and there were flashes of lights, and people were guessing that some kind of executions or something. Knowing what we know about energy, I don't know if it was executions occurring in the White House itself. I would tend to say no. I would say there was some kind of energy stuff going on there, maybe some kind of summoning or whatever. I don't know. But yeah, Melania is very sensitive to them. And we talked about it last week about how she was skeeving during that funeral she went to, where she wore the shirt that had the gates of hell. Okay, sweetie. Tim's coming home. Let me tell him. Okay, my love. Drive careful. Oh, he doesn't want to be locked outside. Just come in. He doesn't want to get in front of the camera and say hi to you guys. It's kind of weird. He's still very shy. He's a shy guy. The chicken is coming. What? Oh, for the pets. You guys are hilarious. You guys are hilarious. Chicken. Anybody looking for their chicken? Wolfie, Pico, chicken time, chicken time. I don't know if they'll come. They know that too. They know when I BS them because I do it a lot. And I use that to try and get them to comply sometimes, and get out of a room or something. So they're kind of, they got to see the bowl. They have to hear the bowl moving is what they have to hear. The top flipping open. The baddies labeled everyone they could as COVID victims to get the big checks. It was horrible, horrible. Oh, here, I missed a couple good stuff here. Okay, we did Happy. Did I just hear some steps? No, they're hiding today. Daddy will be here soon. PCR test wasn't for testing COVID. Karen Mullis, the Nobel Prize winner, invented. He was killed mysteriously. Hold on one second. Oh, wait, here we go. Here's the targets, guys. You're going to love this one. Here's just a few of them. Paradise, California was one. Other California wildfire zones, including Los Angeles. Various fires were attributed to dues, often with the same land clearing, high-speed rail, or smart city motives, blah, blah, blah. Lahaina. So it's not real. They're just saying that's not what Q predicted. No, I was looking for Q predictions. Got to fight with it for a second. Back in 2016 to 2020. The White House, Georgia Guidestones, London Bridge, etc. I used to have a list of these, but you know, when you get all this information, your computer gets so much stuff, you can't find anything. I wanted to check. So PCR, you guys use these abbreviations, and I don't know them all, so I'm just checking that too. Let's see. It's still checking that one, still running that one. That was the so the PCR test, polymerase chain reaction tests, blah, 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 genetic material, DNA or RNA from pathogens such as viruses or bacteria. So that also, diagnosing. So it was used for COVID-19. So that was they called it the PCR test. I get it. Okay. Sorry, missed that one. Okay. Look, I learn something new every day because we're all in different circles and we see different things. And I think it's really great that you guys are so awake and aware of what's going on. People admitted into the hospital kill fields, incapacitated from car accidents, etc., put on the ventilators, remdesivir, shut down, received hundreds of thousands from the cabal. Yep, I know. Depopulation. It was depopulation too, but it was also to get rid of Trump. The baddies labeled everyone they could as COVID victims. Yep, to get the big checks. They're still fighting that, but it's starting to come out now. There's actually reimbursements that have been reported by different people that they've shown some of the reimbursements. Melania had the White House blessed. Yep, after cleaning out the domes underneath. The chicken is coming. I heard those lights were UFOs over the White House. Now, I never heard that one. They were actually inside. That might be a different time, Patricia, but these were flashes. You see the windows going across the White House, and they were flashes in one particular room, not all over, one particular room. Does anybody else remember that? The Getty Museum, the Hoover Dam. Den's got it. Yep. The Getty Museum, the Hoover Dam, the Three Gorges Dam, the Playboy Mansion. Yep, they were all supposed to be in there. Yes. Dew direct energy weapons. They put things on the cans of Dew beverage. I remember that showing what they were going to do. I remember those Dew cans. Absolutely. Yeah, I did. I remember it too. Let's see if we can find me. All right, here's what we got. All right, so did they give us anything here? The Georgia Guidestones. So they basically London Bridge, targeted red. There was Noble Q. Yeah. So it was useless. That search was useless. They won't list it. They won't give it to us. So the heck with that. We don't care. Okay. So there probably was. Tell me about reports of direct energy weapon. What would you call that? Hints on Mountain Dew cans. References on. I hope this helps you guys a little bit, 'cause it's really hard to navigate the AI, and it gives us so much misinformation that I hope when I use it, because I use it extensively. I don't believe everything it says. Never. But I have a foundation, and if it's consistent with what I already understood, if it's not, then I go and I ask for references. Show me this, and I read them myself. We're done with that one. Okay, and of course this says no actual direct energy weapon references. What exists is a fringe conspiracy, here we go, that claim that treats the letters DEW in Mountain Dew as a backronym for directed energy weapons. There was something else. Pure wordplay, blah, 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 blah. Mountain Dew conspiracy theory, which claims that new flavor names predict or coincide with major disasters. The Maui fire claims common crossover point because of the Maui burst. Remember that? I remember that. Yeah, these people are so sick, aren't they? Original London Bridge was brought to Lake Havasu, Arizona. Get out, Dan! I didn't know that. That was that before a long time ago, and is that what we're talking about? Because Arizona is another key player in this whole scenario, isn't it? Yes, it's amazing. This is happy. Everything that was put in our faces all those years, and we were called crazy. That's the thing, App. We were called crazy. And we never recognized that there was a hidden agenda behind the commercials, the sci-fi movies, every freaking thing, nonfiction. And you're absolutely right. It was crazy. I use it a lot too. AI. Yeah, I call it out exactly. And it's always apologizing for the mistakes. Here's the thing. I have flipped Grok completely and had it reversed. I did a video on this a while back. I forget what it completely, completely. It was something about the contaminants or the poisons in food and how they don't account for the accumulation of these things in repeat ingestion, and how I gave it hell, how people are relying on it and so forth, and it just totally bent over and flipped 100%. It literally said, let me change my answer. But normally I find Grok very argumentative, and it wants to stand it's almost like a snot-nosed kid out of college that knows everything. That's kind of how I perceive Grok sometimes. Yeah, you saw the cans of Dew. There were two versions. So one was Maui. What was the other one? Do you remember, Patricia? I don't remember. We're not crazy conspiracy. I know we are sane, intelligent conspiracy analysts. Come on. I know. And that's the thing. It's coming out. I don't know. I honestly don't know what's wrong with half of this country. How they can possibly, but again, when you go on X, you consistently see these people, politicians, and I don't like to get into it too much with them because they can get real vile. They can get very vile. But every now and then, the politicians I'll call out. The liberals, I usually don't. And if I do say something to them, I'll go 1 or 2 times with them, and then I just block them. Who the heck cares? I was just looking at something else in there. Kind of hard. You have to really focus on that to do it. Can't remember. Yeah, I can't either. I never realized that about the have not drunk poison soda in over 20 years. That's like me, Happy. I don't drink it either. So, but I did recognize it because my grandson drinks it. Can't stop them. I can only do what you can do, I cannot wait for the med beds. People think I'm crazy, so it will be a long time coming. No, I do think it will happen before 2030. I do think that, Tahoe. And I'm hoping sooner. What was really, really encouraging to me was that medbed Trump that medbed video that Trump retweeted. The president of the United States doesn't put conspiracy theories out there. He just doesn't, in my opinion. That would be absolute. And when did we ever? What other president would we ever call a liar when he did something like that? It's just insane, absolutely insane. I do think so, Tahoe. I hope you're cutting the plastics out, baby, because they're real, real bad. I saw something recently about the colorectal cancer and these plastics, trying to get them through the GI tract. Cut out as many as you can. I hope the medbed disclosure healing to all of us 100% happens. Year's end, what does that give us? 6 months? Don't know. I know that the beds are ready. I've heard that numerous times. Elena has said that, and Dan passed that on to me, that the beds are ready. So that's not what we're waiting for. My understanding is that we still have to clean out people in power so that they don't get back. And You just can't go in. Like I've told people a million times, I'm going to check that Tartarian. It's on my list, folklore, because I love historic and traditional medicines and stuff like that. They imprisoned people like us that were asking questions and took our kids, really, distributing them all over the place. Wow. That was centuries ago. I'm definitely on my list. Yeah. I'm going to have to look into that. But I don't know if they will be here because we've still got cleansing to do. Trump goes out in 2028. Trump's the cleanser. We know that. By Hopi prophecy, Trump is the cleanser. There's no doubt. He's the man in the red hat that the Hopi predicted a long time ago. And that man in the red hat is the cleanser. We don't know if he will also be the one to usher in the golden age. Hi, Shelly. There she is. Yeah, you have to eat out a lot. I know, baby. And this is what I do too. If you do eat out a lot, you take it home, because I do. We went to a place a couple weeks ago, and I take a couple bites out of something, and the bread alone fills me up. So I never, ever, ever eat a full meal of anything at a restaurant. And I take it home and I have the meal the next day. But they went to put it in a one of those styrofoam containers, and I said to her, I said, I asked for an aluminum one. And yes, they have the plastic on top, but it's aluminum. Remember, we used to avoid the aluminum? Well, now avoid the plastics at any. And she did. She put it in an aluminum container they had in the back. So try that. Try and get away from them as best you can, sweetie, because I'm convinced that they're killing us with those plastics. When all of us go to eat out, it's best to choose a mom, pa, local. Yep. It's pure, most likely from scratch, and it takes a little extra time. It's worth it. Health is important. It's so hard. Eating out is difficult, and Tim and I don't do it as much as we used to. But like we'll go out for some eggs Benedict or something, and I have the ham removed from it, of course, because it's processed. And I have spinach put on it. But it's hard to eat out at restaurants because you really don't know what you're getting, and you're right. Even when they do. Here's the thing, Happy. The biggest, to me, dangers of course, it's all the additives in the food, but even if they use all fresh stuff, they cook it in the oils. And the oils turn carcinogenic when they're heated too high and so forth, and they almost uniformly use vegetable oil, which is the polyunsaturated, and they turn very toxic. So that's my problem in going out, is what they use to cook it in. They also said they put him in insane asylums. Who did I miss? Oh, during the Tartarian stuff. That wouldn't surprise me. My daughter, I was with my daughter last night, and she's the one that, when this went on 10 years ago, and I was at my lowest point, and everybody abandoned me except her. And she said, I thought we were going to have to put you in an insane asylum. Well, I talked to her last night, and she's awake now. And I said, now Mom's not so crazy after all. She says, I don't know. I still got that insane asylum on speed dial for you. Because every time, what I do is every time she catches on and confirms, because my daughter's just like me, she'll go and she'll confirm everything. And when she does, and she says, well, yeah, I got it here, Mom, there you go. Or I'll give her a link. Every time I do, then I give her something else, a little more to digest. So then she's like, oh gosh, I can't believe you. Who wants to ingest, I know, poisonous vinyl chloride and styrofoam? And I think of when I was in my 20s, and I used to watch that stuff melt as my food was put in it. And it never occurred to me that it was harmful in any way. They took the old Tartarian, this is Happy confirming what Shelley said, that they took the old Tartarian structures, the castles, and turned them into institutions, orphanages included with the insane asylum. Anybody know what year that was? Centuries ago, I take it. I'll have to look. Yeah, I can ask. When was the Tartarian civilization. You guys probably know this off. If I could spell, it would be better. Civilization. I won a spelling bee in first grade, too. I won the spelling bee. I was so proud. I got a great big lollipop of sugar. All right, so that's running that. It's thinking, of course. Shelly says, I started bringing my own container because that is an excellent idea. And Tim and I did that for the Pets Chicken. The first time when we first got into this whole thing, that's an excellent idea. Tahoe, why don't you start bringing containers with you so that they can, a glass container, and ask them to put it in. That's excellent. Thank you so much, because I'm going to do the exact same thing, Shelly. When we go out to dinner, I'm not going to worry about it. I'm going to start bringing the glass containers. IMO next July 4th will be in my opinion, will be the World's Fair. World's Fair brings out the newest. That's a really good point, Den. In case you guys don't know, next year there's going to be a World's Fair. Where is that going to be? Anybody know? But that's when the new technology comes out. And you're right. Everything has come out so organically is the way this is being done. And maybe because they hate Trump, they don't trust Trump. I don't know. If he says it like he has said in the past, if I want something to happen, I just say the opposite, and then they'll do what I wanted to begin with. So that's a really good point, that the World's Fair could come. But I'm hoping we go into lockdowns, and that's when it was supposed to happen, Den. If you remember, when we went into the 10 days of darkness lockdown, that's when we were supposed to get the appointments for the med beds and all that stuff. So we'll see. We'll see. But keep your food around, because we could go in lockdowns by the end of the year. Who knows? But you're right. That's a good thing about the World's Fair. Yes. Carry a glass container. Just buy yourself a glass container, even if you have to. Do you have one? Do you have a glass container with a lid that you can take with you? Because I'm happy to get you one, sweetheart, if you need one, and have it shipped to you. So if you don't have one, let me know. Happy's going to do that. My ex-sister-in-law actually called my oldest son and told him to check on me because I tried telling her information. My son laughed when he called and I explained he's awake. Yeah. Well, I had one sister who's real religious that was praying over me and wanting, I'm sure she was exorcising me at some point because she thought I was absolutely the demon devil. Yes, my own family won't even wake up. Yeah, I know. Of course, most of mine has, which is really cool. They've been awake. See, they all went for Trump, and one isn't awake, but they still went for Trump. I don't know, because I don't talk to her anymore, but most of my family is awake at this point. Some distant relatives that I don't ever see, maybe not. They think you're crazy. Join the club. You're in good hands. And the ones that believe the things we believe and know to be true. Of course, they think I'm crazy, and the ones that believe the things we believe and know to be true. And don't you love those spam calls? Block them. Report them and block them. Iowa. What's Iowa? What did I miss here? I asked a question, and I'm sure you told me that was where, yeah, that is great, bringing your own container. You got one, Tahoe? Let me see. Oh, now, of course, they come up. I'll have to look at this a little more, because they say there is no singular advanced Tartarian civilization or unified Tartarian empire as described in the modern conspiracy theories. Historically, Tartary, which is the real term, which is also spelled Tartaria or Great Tartary, was a broad, imprecise geographic label used by Western Europe map makers. Oh, good. So if map makers used it, it was real, right? Roughly in the 13th century to the 19th century. Okay, so that wasn't so long ago, was it? It referred to a large, poorly mapped regions of Inner and Central Asia, Siberia, Mongolia, and adjacent areas. bounded roughly by the Caspian Sea, the Ural Mountains, the Pacific Ocean, and the northern edges of China, India, and Persia. Russian expanded into Siberia. Oh, I want to do that too. I want to do that too, guys. So I don't know. I know nothing about that. Tartarian civilization as an advanced lost empire is modern myth, not historical. So I'm going to have to go back to some compendiums. If you have one, put it up there for me. And explore the Mongol Empire history. Okay. And then it gives me a Natalie Fomenko chronology. That means nothing to me. Maybe it means something to some of you guys. Okay. Now, I want to do something here. I bought that book. I told some of you have seen it. This Ringing Cedars books. This is about consciousness, guys. I never knew it. I never knew it until I just put it together last week in studying Dan's stuff on crystals. Oh, okay. Happy's been studying the Tartaria for over a year now. I have a huge playlist on you. Okay, good, to help you guys. I'll take a look at that too. All right, so Ringing Cedars. All right, so here's what we're going to do. I'm going to open this up. I got two pages of it. I feel like I should go to the left, and I feel about there. Okay, and this was from the book Anastasia. Cemeteries are a markedly recent phenomenon designed to tear human souls apart in hellfire, to demean, subjugate, and make them into lowly slaves. Isn't that odd? Cemeteries. Now that sounds to me, I don't get it. If any of you understand that, I get that it could be why they started cremation, but who can afford to be buried anymore? You got to be cremated. But cemeteries are markedly recent. They're designed to tear human souls apart. Human souls can be torn apart. That's odd. In hellfire. And then we know that they demean, subjugate, and turn us into lowly slaves. I don't understand much about that one. I'm going to give you another one, guys. Okay, good one. There was a book in the series called God. And on page 11 of this one, it says, love alone is able to restrain and cage the energy of disdain, hatred, and rage. Love alone. Now remember what we talked about, well, maybe we didn't, maybe I just was studying it, about how Jen Han told Dan that the frequency of love is our connection to the universal network of energy. So love is what will connect us. So when you meditate, when you sit, whatever, love, love, love. Put yourself in that. And that's what was said here too, is that we can bypass the hatred, the disdain, and the rage by remaining in the love connection. Remember, who's old enough to remember Love Connection? Tim and I watch that sometimes. Okay, so let's see. So that's the Ringing Cedars. If you can't afford the books, which are over 100 a piece now, and there's a series of 9 or 10 of them, this cost me $10. And I thought I got it on eBay, but I think I got it on, it's by Ethan Warner. And it's all it is all the different, it's quotes from all of the different books. So it's basically really great. I'm going to be referring to this. I'm going to be creating some shorts with it because I didn't realize what I had when I had it. So let's see what else we got. So funny. Notice in any crowd of family or friends, most don't even talk about what's going on. Is that true, Patricia? I don't know, because the only one I really, well, no, I have friends also. I have one friend who has awoken in the last year or two. She's still awakening to things, and she had gone off the beaten path with some controlled truthers, and she got really upset with me at one point because I told her that you're following the wrong person, because she'd been following the person for years and years and years, like 13 years, she said. And then all of a sudden one day she says, "You were there's Wolfie." She said, "You were right." She said, "I'm sick of the fear porn." So people like, "Oh, hi, Wolfie." Wolfie wants to be in the picture. Hi, Wolf. Say hi. There he is, being beautiful. He finally woke up, lazy butt. They're afraid they'll look crazy. Yeah, you're right, Patricia. And I guess because they're in, it's the circles that they're in, and maybe what we do is very from a surface level. Maybe what we do is bring up something like, "What about that Fauci questioning?" and let them respond. Yeah, I thought he was. Can you believe he took the fifth and start pulling it out of them? And sometimes people need to wake up themselves, baby. So what you do is you throw them breadcrumbs. That's what Q calls them, breadcrumbs. You throw out breadcrumbs for them to follow, and then aha, look what I discovered, and it is what they say, and that makes them, more comfortable speaking out. So I get what you're saying there, but maybe throw some breadcrumbs out once in a while. Tahoe says her mother cusses Trump out on TV. Glad I'm gone 99% of the day. You're living with her. I'm glad that you're living with her, sweetie. I'm glad about that. And value her. I understand that even if she isn't awake yet, she will be. But unless we were really abused, I can just tell you, after losing my mom, and I had her pulled away from me about a year before she died. And then when she was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, I had 1 month left with her because she wanted to see me at that point. So all I can say is enjoy every moment you can, because they go by too quick. She says, "What will happen to my brother-in-law, the doctor, when med beds arrive? He was just promoted again to the latest premier concierge." Isn't that terrible? There's no doctors anymore. There's corporations of doctors. It's a good question. It's going to depend on whether he gets on board or whether he doesn't, whether he has anything to contribute to humanity or not at that point. Now, also remember, and I don't know how this is all going to work out, but did any of you hear Musk when he was talking about once AI is in full swing, that nobody is going to have to work? Everything will be done for us. It'll be cheap. We'll have this money coming in that they're talking about. And he doesn't ever talk to you. Never, ever, ever. Although he did recently, he did have the one I showed last week. He did post that one Q proof. So he's starting to come out a little about it too. But Musk said that once we have full command of AI, that none of us will be working. Now, what I know is from the Pleiadians that they still work, and we're going to have to work, but I don't know that it's going to be necessary, or it's done for the purpose of helping people. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I'm losing my power. I'm losing my power. How much do I have? Let me see. It's going to go to sleep soon, and I didn't bring the plug down. Okay. Well, we might cut it soon, but hold on. 1890, when they were putting them in insane asylums. Okay, on X. I'm going to try and go through. I might cut out here. Medical offices geared towards wealthy, paying $175 a month for doctor-patient time, same-day appointments, etc. It's too bad that with a lot of people, you can always lead a horse to water. Yeah, exactly. Frequency of love is definitely our connection. That's the connection for everybody on this channel, guys. And just try to, that's why I go by the name Spirit. I've been doing it for over a decade now, about 15 years or so. And because I went to a seminar, and one guy I met, his name was Soul. and he named himself that. That was his nickname. But everybody knew him as Soul. And I thought, oh, how cool is that? And then when I got back, I decided, you know what? Because I was Cork on the Ocean before that, basically going with the swing of things and not getting upset. And lots of people knew me as Cork. But then I moved from that area. That was after the oil spill and all that stuff. And I moved back to my home in Tarpon Springs. And I needed help. And I began calling myself Spirit to remind me every single day, every time somebody says that to me, I remind myself to live in spirit. And that's how that name came about. And at my age, I thought for many years, I thought about changing it legally, but why? Do I have to? I don't know. The purpose of it was to remind me every time I hear that name to live in spirit. Is that my sweetie? Is that your daddy? Hold on one second. Will you run up and get my cord, sweetie? Will you run up and get my cord? It's up in the bedroom.
Computer cord?
The computer cord. I'm about to die here
Okay.
in the middle of the stream. Okay. You remember the Love Boat? I know the whole song, I think. And Flipper, I know that whole song. Can you put where you got that book from? I absolutely will, Shell. I'll put it. I'm sure I got it in the. Let me see here. He's getting my cord, but if I lose you, I'll put it in the description. But let me just check 1 second here, and I'll put it in the chat for you. It was on Amazon, I believe, and it was called. Let's just put. Oh, thank you. Here, hon. Here, sweetie. Plug.
I'm undercover.
I don't have the. Oh, you're undercover. Hold on, guys. My goofy husband. Hold on. Getting there. Don't want to lose you. We're plugged in. Got it. No, we're not. There. Okay. We're plugged in. All right. We're good. All right. Let me get that book. Ringing Cedars. Oh, why don't I just go to my orders? Some of my orders haven't come. There you go. I got it right here. And I'm going to put the link to it. Okay. Get link. Copy the link. This is my affiliate account. I might get 5 cents if you buy it. People, there was one guy that was saying, "Oh, you guys make so much money on there. You're selling stuff. You're selling whatever." They don't understand. They have no clue that unless you are, let me just put on here, Ringing Cedars. Unless you are supported by the deep state, they don't let you make a dime. Okay, there's a big kitty cat in there. He is. Okay, there's the link there, guys. Just click on it if you want that book. It was like, let me tell you how much it was. It was cheap. $10. 10. So it was only $10. And I like these kind of things. I've on numerous occasions read the Tao Te Ching. And it's written in very much the same way, only a little longer, things to contemplate. So a whole page will be a lesson, kind of, so to speak, on the Tao Te Ching. And I'll tell you what, I read that so many times. It's so esoteric and deep, but it brought me more clarity. Of course, Shelley, it brought me more clarity than anything I've ever read in my entire life. And I have read the Bible once and made no sense of it. So the Tao Te Ching is also another good, here, let me put that up there for you guys, just in case you've never read it, because there's one particular one that I recommend. It's got 2 of Lao Tzu's books in it. Lao Tzu is the one that wrote it, Complete Works. And the second book is great too. Hold on, Complete Works of Lao Tzu. There you go. Whoa. I can't believe that's going up in price too. What the heck? I'm going to give you the cheaper copy. I have both copies of it. Let me show the screen to you so that you understand what I'm talking about. Okay, so I have both copies because this is something that I just keep on hand to give to people. This thing used to be 20 bucks. All right, so this one is the original one. It's exactly the same. The two are exactly the same. So don't dare buy the new edition here because it's exactly the same. And this is $71. I paid like $15 for it at best, maybe years ago. So, that's crazy. So you'll want this one. Let me get the link to that for you, and I'll put that up too, just in case you want it. This is the Tao Te Ching. And this is something that you can, every day, I recommend, you don't sit down and you don't read the whole thing. You read the first lesson, and then you think. And then another day you go to the next. It's really deep stuff, guys, and you might have to read it over and over and over again to understand it. All right, that's enough sales talk. All right, let's see. How much does fat, I call him fat ass. And Tim doesn't like that, but he weighs, no, not even close. He must look bigger. Things must appear bigger in this. Oh, wait, let me get rid of that. No, he's not even close to 20 pounds. I think he's 9. Pico is 7 pounds. No, Wolfie is 10 pounds, maybe 11 at best. So no, he's not that big. He's kind of a medium-sized cat. Can PDF nearly anything. Oh yeah, find the Ringing Cedars, because I couldn't find them. If you find that, then inscribed, if you can find the 10 books of the Ringing Cedars, Anastasia, oh boy, let me know, because I need some more. Wolfie, you got a high there, baby. Yeah, put where I got the book from. Okay, remember the Love Boat. I have lots of company that visit over the summer. They can only talk general stuff. I'm going to ask them questions. Drop little things. Yeah, act like you're really interested in what they have to say. But then you have to use it yourself. Use your own intuition on that, Patricia, because if they start getting combative, then just, back off. But you'll be fine. You are so much more equipped than you were a couple years ago to handle it, and I'm sure you're going to do it well. There's a big kitty cat. He has one eye. I don't know if you guys can see him, Happy, but he's a one-eyed kitty. We adopted him, and he was in a ditch with his sibling, and they had to remove both of their eyes. They had infections in their eyes. I almost thought about going with a completely blind one, but I thought we got stairs and stuff like that, and that wouldn't be good. But you would never know he has one eye. You would never know. He's as cantankerous as anybody. She's a narcissistic abuser spirit. Yeah, some are. And what can you say? That's just, I don't dwell on it at all, to be honest with you, Hap. I just don't. I learned a long time ago that above all, I must protect my state, because if I let my frequency get messed up by other people, then I'm not doing any good for anybody. I'm harming my own physical health. So no, I above all, I have to keep my frequency pure and in a good place, because there's enough crap in life that can get you upset. All of the little things, you don't need people in your life pushing every button either. The robots interacting with humans is unbelievably amazing. Did you see Melania with the robot? Yeah, I did. It's amazing. Give you freedom to travel, explore, and let the robots do the work. Exactly. That's what Musk says. So we'll see. The ex-spiritist. You're trouble, Mark. You are trouble. Just in case you cut out. Okay. This guy just went upstairs. I know. Isn't he such a puss? He goes on, well, you've seen him. He's on his podcast, but he keeps it real far away. He doesn't want anybody to see him. He keeps him well behind the drums. And because he's so far back, we're having problems with the microphone and the sounds on his videos, but we'll get it. He's it took me a long time to get rid of it. Do you remember Fantasy Island Tattoo? What was his name? Was it Tattoo? The little shrimp, the midget? Talk about in our faces. I know. I know. It has so been in our faces. You got to hide from Patricia, Timmy. They see you're camera shy. A black magic cat just crossed your path. He's actually not black at all, Mark. He is gray and black striped. It's hard to see when he's there, but he has these beautiful stripes. And besides the one eye, his stripe, he has all like tiger stripes in black and gray, and one black stripe down his back like a skunk. And that black stripe down his back is why I got him. The camera adds 20 pounds. Yeah, it does. I know. I'm finishing up Tartarian overview book right now. Great timing. I have a really great book too. It's really good, easy to read, big letters, big letters. It's only 100. I love those short ones, don't you? Love them. You'll have to keep us posted. I'm going to do something on them and then we can talk about it. I'll go to your videos and see what it has. I really believe that the cat's frequency helps to heal our bodies. Of course they do. Of course they do. Don't know what I would do without my YouTube star, Kitty Gibby, alone. She's all I have. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Happy, but you're doing great. You're doing great. She's not all you have. You have every one of us. Remember that. Every one of us. This is a haven here. Yes, Spirit, we need to protect ourselves in order to grow. Yep. Yep. Happy, how do we find your kitty's channel? Does the kitty have a channel? I don't think he does he? I think he's in Happy's videos. Kitty Gibby, where's Kitty Gibby? I'm going to do a search real quick. Kitty Gibby, see if it comes up. Kitty Gibby. Probably won't because you're not getting paid by them to two B's. Is it Gibson? I got a Kitty Gibson. Kitty Gibby. I just love, Tim loves these kitty videos. Kitty Gibbison. I got a kitty, talking kitty cat. I used to have a cat that talked. He would say, I love you. Okay. No, can't find Kitty Gibby. Oh, yeah, it's on his Happy channel. He puts the kitty in. Okay. I've done a few homegrown videos with my cat and just live in life normally, soundtrack in the background a little bit. And you don't have a problem with the soundtrack? Because I'll tell you what, they hit me every time I put any kind of background in there at all. Unless they're shorts and then you get 1 minute of it. So, don't know. Don't know. All right. Anybody got anything else? We've been 2 hours and 14 minutes. And guess what? We didn't lose the stream today. Yay! Okay. So, I've done a few okay. Yeah, we got that. Okay. All right, guys. So, have a good weekend. Usually have hand, pan, flute. Oh, and harp playing in the background. Oh, okay. Okay. So that's kind of like not copyrighted stuff. And there is other stuff. You know, one of these days, I'm going to get some instruments like some singing bowls and maybe some tuning forks. And we're going to maybe do a little sound bath or something if I could figure out how to do it. So that's in the future. Okay. Anything else? I don't think so. I'm getting hungry. I never finished my lunch, guys. There's like poke bowl and I never finished it. We love you, sister. I love you guys so much. If you only knew. Thank you for sharing everything. We are united together learning. We are. I know. No buffering. So what I'm going to do from now on, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this. And it seems fine. The video seems just as good, actually, as that expensive camera I bought. Not so expensive, but expensive. Okay. Everybody have a great weekend. Right now, I want you to close your eyes, and I want you to take and imagine emitting love. Send those frequencies out to the world. The world needs more love. And so it is. I love you guys. I'll see you Tuesday. Bye-bye. Oh, Clean Living Lab's coming up too with the, did the drinks, the shots for inflammation. Blessing to you, beautiful. I've got, I hope I don't have to go through that. I tried to get your email through the ExPharmacon interface and I couldn't, but I think I sent you one from my personal email, so I'm going to look for that. Yep, let's do that. Love, love, love. There you go. Lots of those guys. Look at those hearts. Aren't they great? Love them. Everybody love. It's amazing. Okay, guys. Love you. Have a good weekend. See you Tuesday. Bye-bye, guys. All right, how do we stop this now? I got to figure this out. End stream. Okay, bye-bye.